everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Do WIT podcast. If you're watching this, because we're not putting this on Spotify or Apple or anything like that, so you're only going to see this on our YouTube channel. If you're watching this, you know that we are not yet moved into the podcast recording room, and that's okay. We're still going to put some information out for you today and honor our commitment, which was to post every Wednesday of 2024. And that's what we're going to do. And it's easy for us to remember because it's Wednesday. So it's WIT Wednesday. And today I wanted to touch on a few things to let you be caught up with some giveaways that we're doing, and then elaborate on the Today Show article that I wrote yesterday. So if you have been following along as we're launching this new season of the podcast, we are in process of getting this room all suited up and ready to be the podcast room. We're waiting on some lights, but we have a camera, although it did glitch yesterday during a test episode. So that's good. We are going to re-record that episode, and we learned what we have to do differently for next time. And I think that that's always an important lesson, that you start, you try, and it's not always going to go perfectly. You get your lessons and then you pivot, and we're going to figure out how we're going to fix that glitchy camera. In the meantime, we've ordered some lights. I think I said that. So those are going to be coming in hopefully soon. And I've noticed that some of you have applied for the $150 giveaway. Remember, in honor of WIT, really the nonprofit that's the catalyst for this whole thing, the whole Do WIT podcast, and my experience running WIT, in honor of it turning 15 years old this year, we are giving away $150 every month on the 15th of every month, just because that sounds fun. And why not give money away to teen entrepreneurs who sometimes just need a little cash to get started? Maybe you need to buy your first round of prototypes. Maybe you want to pay for the registration fee at a farmer's market where you want to sell your product. Who knows what it is that you want, but we know that $150 couldn't hurt as you embark or you grow on your entrepreneurial journey. Okay. Today, I wanted to touch on the Today Show article that I wrote last week. Last week, I wrote an article on the 15 lessons learned from 15 years of doing whatever it takes. And then yesterday, because I put out a Today Show article every Tuesday, yesterday I wrote about I elaborated on one of those lessons learned. And it was about knowing your competitors. And I had shared in that article that I would elaborate a little bit more on that for this week's podcast, because this month there's not any guests coming in. It's just solo episodes and information for all of you to be ready for this season of Do It. So to elaborate on that concept and that lesson of knowing your competition, I can remember when I decided to try this idea that I had about WIT. And if you've been here long enough, you know that that original idea was a television show, because I had worked in TV and I had been a school teacher also. And I thought I would combine those things and create what we were calling responsible reality television and put out a show about young people making a difference. So that was the first iteration of WIT, and it got pitched to ABC, and then they said to go back and get footage of young people making a difference because they couldn't quite picture it. Isn't that funny? Adults not being able to picture how kids can make a difference. And yet here we are 15 years later showing you every day that young people can make a difference. So I went back, got some footage, and then eventually it turned into a nonprofit. And because that test of the concept went really well at that school that we used, shout out to my friend Beth, former teacher, and I love her, and she let me use her classroom. That concept went really well, the test concept. So then people were asking, well, when are you going to do this again? Or what is this? And so the idea was, let's make it a nonprofit and grow it. And I remember going into this, I lived in a different place then. And I were going into the office in that house every morning dressed as if I was going to work, even though I was not working, I was building something. I wasn't going, working a job, typical job. And I spent a lot of time Googling and learning about other youth leadership programs. And I wanted to know what was out there. And sometimes I would have an idea for WIT. And I can remember, it sounds so silly now. I can remember almost being nervous to search the idea on the Google machine because I was thinking, oh my gosh, what if somebody is already, my alarm's going off. What if somebody's already done that? And I was just like nervous that, oh my gosh, I could, what if somebody's already done this idea and then my idea is silly? And that's real. That happens because you want to think that what your genius is so unique. And it was uncomfortable, but it was so informative because you know what? A lot of ideas that I had already been done in terms of youth leadership and things like that. But because I got to read about these different programs and how they were addressing youth leadership and developing youth leaders, learning about what they were doing helped me think about what was going to be different about what I wanted to offer. And I also found that I'd go into meetings when I was talking about the concept of WIT, and they would say things like, people would say to me, oh, so you're like junior achievement. And I'm like, I don't think so. And I'd go back and really learn about what junior achievement was offering and be able to say in that meeting the next time around, oh no, this is what we're doing differently. This is what they do. This is what we do. This is why it doesn't matter if you already are involved with junior achievement, you would still want to be involved in WIT because we're doing this thing, which is a different offer, different program. And eventually over the years, not only did I research people to understand what was out there in the world to help us develop good programming, but I also learned about organizations that I wanted to partner with. And here's the interesting thing. Well, I mean, I think it's interesting and was unexpected for me when I started this kind of work. I thought that if you were going to be working in the space of, the nonprofit world, which was new to me, the nonprofit world, and especially around helping young people, that everyone would want to come together and work together to help those kids. And that there wouldn't be any type of kind of some of the competition that I used to see in the for-profit world that wouldn't really exist because we're all here for the kids. Well, spoiler alert, sometimes it's even more competitive in the nonprofit space and people are even more in their ego because unfortunately there can be the mindset that people are fighting for the same dollars. And so if they're fighting for the same dollars and the same grants and all those things, you don't always want to come together. You don't always want to support other organizations. I think that's absolutely ridiculous and silly and does not help young people in the long run, but whatever, that's something that I ran into over the years. So if you're running into that at all, or you're getting resistance from people that don't want to collaborate with you, or they want the spotlight all to themselves, let them have it. Go do your thing and you'll find your people. So over the years, we've definitely found our people. One of our best partners is UCSD and the people over at the UCSD extension programs. They have really helped us just elevate our programming because we provide these college credit classes and we tie it to an esteemed university. And that was a wonderful partnership. And they help us and we help them by letting people know that they're great and people should consider that UCSD as a school to go to. And they've been a really wonderful partner for us. We've also found schools that want to partner with us. Not every school wanted to have an entrepreneurship program. A lot of people wanted to do their own in-house programming, even though it wasn't going to be taught by an entrepreneur, which was really big for us because we feel like if you're running one of our WIT courses, you have to have been an entrepreneur because then you know how to teach that to somebody. Well, you know what that feels like and the ups and the downs that come with it. And you can really teach that and share your experience. So we would get some schools that would say, no, thanks, we're doing our own thing. Or we don't want to have to pay for it. And we're like, well, we can't do it for free because we have to be an organization that can sustain itself. And so you'll find your people, you'll find your partners as you go out there. And sometimes truly your competition can actually become great partners. We've created really great partnerships with other organizations that are in the entrepreneur space, and they've supported us. Like Diamond Challenge is a great organization out there, and they've done work with us, and we've helped their teens, and they've helped our teens. And we do think we do different things, so we're not offering the same thing. And so that's probably enough on that. I really wanted to keep it brief, but I kind of went on a little bit. But to a lot, that was my lesson that I dived into a little bit on the Today Show article that I posted yesterday. And it's just know your competition, know who's out there. And even I know when teens come and pitch to me their businesses and their ideas, one of the first questions I ask them is, who's already doing this? And if they can't answer it, then the meeting does not continue. They have to go back and do their research, because you have to know what already exists out there so that you can tell me what makes it unique. Why does the world need more of it? Or why does the world need your specific offer? And so yeah, know your competition. That's the fun little lesson for today, for this week's episode of the Do WIT podcast. You can read more about the different articles we can read more of the articles I've written for the Today Show in the link in the description of this episode. And hopefully next time, this little studio here, makeshift studio here, is going to be looking more like a podcast room. And wherever this finds you today, I hope it finds you having a great day. If it's not a great day, you can still turn it around. That's always possible. Usually through doing an act of service, doing a random act of kindness for somebody else. It's a great way. We talk about that a lot in WIT. Expressing gratitude for others or to others always shifts the mood and can turn your day around. And until next time, do whatever it takes.